Is everything all right?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So now I'll share my screen with you, and we'll start. I guess that you can see it.
Yes, we can see.
Great. I got ill a little bit, but I hope that everything's gonna be fine with my throat. Please don't pay attention to it. So, yeah, today I'll tell you about our digital archive called Ukraine War Archive that was basically created, developed from the beginning of full-scale invasion. My name is Mariia Buchelnikova, and yeah, as you already presented me, I won't repeat anything. So thank you so much for this presentation. What is Ukraine War Archive? Actually, it's a united database of audio and video materials that document the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Basically, we're trying to collect all the data, all the materials that we can about this war. We started from collecting only videos and audio, but then we realized that there are a lot of different other formats as for example, photos, documents, maybe even photos of somebody's diary or something. So people started to send us different formats, and we decided to save them too because it's also important. We have pretty big team, I guess. We have research and analytics manager and developers. This is the part of non-profit organization InfoScope. They basically they created and developed the whole technical part of this project. They created this database for us, platform that we use. We also have receiving and processing materials managers. They got all the materials from our website, Telegram chat, and other ways that we got materials from different people and organizations. I will tell you later about this process. Also, we have a team, tagging team from 5 people, I guess. And we have interview coordinators, partnership managers, and communication manager, which is really important not only to collect materials and save them, but also to communicate so other people and initiative can know about it. Ukraine War Archive actually is created to collect all the data that we can about this war, to save them, to preserve them professionally, and to save them for the future generations, for the researchers, museum, basically all of experts and professionals who can use it right now and in the future. Why we decided to collect materials about war? From Euromaidan in 2013, there were a lot of journalists, a lot of media projects, a lot of great initiatives who collected, made video and live broadcasts from Maidan. But unfortunately, right now, a lot of these materials are already lost because those days, nobody thought to preserve them professionally. They just made some videos on YouTube, and unfortunately, after some time, YouTube deleted from the website. They still saving it on their servers, but it's difficult to get them back. So a lot of videos, for example, from Chromatia, this media project that made a lot of live broadcasts, they cannot get their videos back from those times, unfortunately. So we realized that it's really important to preserve all the materials that we can professionally. How Ukrainian War Archive works? Actually, it works as a database or catalog. Our team organizes the material by keywords, by locations, names, and other specific names that they can add to the material. We also developed a list of keywords specifically for our project. For war crimes, we use United Nations standards because they have a huge list of war crimes, and we decided to take some part of it to make the system in the same arc, I guess, because it's important not just to collect and save, but it's also important to use the same methodology, because as far as I know, different archives can, different projects can save materials by different methodology, but then it's really hard to research in this archive because they're collecting in absolutely different ways. So, for example, human rights experts or boards, they cannot, make this research on the same way. They need like different ways to do it. So we decided to make it as somebody already done, but not to make it in a new way. Right now, the access to our archive is very limited. We decided to open it only to human rights experts and to lawyers. It's a huge question, what should we do next about the access? But right now, when the war is still ongoing, we decided to limit it for other experts. Of course, due to the safety of our contributors. What do we collect? We collect basically everything that is about war in Ukraine. So it can be daily activities, civilian resistance to aggression. I'm sure that you saw a lot of different videos, for example, from Kherson, from Kyiv, Oblast, etc. So yeah. And also we're trying to collect humor as well, but it's really difficult to communicate this thing, especially if we're talking about war crimes, for example. So, but there are a lot of absolutely amazing videos to cheer up Ukrainians, and we also want to collect them and save them too, because it's also part of this event, and of course it's also part of our history right now, Ukrainian history. Ukrainian War Archive is built in accordance with international standards. Unfortunately, we cannot use one protocol or one standard, like it's impossible, but we can use, for example, we try to work by Berkeley protocol, but it's still not official in Ukraine, so it's like just uninformal ways to work, and we don't know yet how it's better to preserve these materials and how to better to collect them, because, for example, a lot of human rights organizations, they also have archives and they collect war crime evidence, but they, as I told you, they do it in different way. They use different methodology, so there are no like one standard, and it's gonna be kind of problem in the future, I guess, because it will be very difficult to research through all this data that we got. But our data is protected against unsanctioned third-party access, and we also have a few servers outside of Ukraine, so we have some backup, so I hope that the materials are safe as possible right now. Actually, we collect the materials through a few different ways. We developed Telegram bot, so basically anyone can send us videos or photos or audios from their smartphones. People also can send us materials from website form, especially if they record video, for example, professionally, and it's really huge, so it's easier to send it through website form, but not through Telegram bot. Also, we have a very important area of our archive, interviews. We conducting eyewitnesses, we conducting interviews with witnesses of war crimes. We have a huge, not huge, like near 15 interviewers in Ukraine who find witnesses of war crimes, talk to them, gather all the information that they can, and pass all these interviews to our archives too. And also we have very important area partnership, because we realize that, of course, we can collect some materials from open sources, from people, from media, for example, but to collect as profound as possible picture of war, we should cooperate and consolidate with other initiatives, and I hope that we successfully do it, because we cooperate with Ukrainian human rights organizations, famous media initiatives, museum. We also had some communications with Center for Urban History. It's really nice to see colleagues here. I want to show you the video. I hope that it will be easy to switch it on. Actually, this video was made by videos that we got from our Telegram bot. I hope that I can show it to you. So, I guess that you can see it.
Yes.
We created this video for communications, yes, to encourage people to send us materials, but also it's really good illustration of what actually people, what materials they send to us. So this.
Mariia, I saw this video previously, and I know that it should have a sound, and we did not hear the sound here. So if you could send us a link in the chat, and people can watch it again later.
Yes, yeah, sure, sorry.
Because with the sound, really, it's much more, it has much more meaning.
Yeah, sure. But I guess that more important is also to, to see the text, if you can see it. I will send it a little bit later, because I don't know how to do it while I'm presenting. Thank you. This is how our archive looks from the inside. It's the first page from this of this platform. There are different functions. I don't know all of the functions, unfortunately, because I don't have the access, because only part of members of our team have the full access. I, as a project manager, don't need to have access for personal data, for example, or even for the archive. This is why I never used this archive, just saw the online excursion of it. But yeah, we have different functions here. It's really when we got the materials, my colleagues, they look it through, try to understand whether it's relevant or not, then they upload it to the archive, and tagging team started to work with it, and put keywords, put names, and all the information they can got from the materials. But then we realized that we also need a verification team. Right now we're looking for a few experts who can help us with the verification, because unfortunately it's not that easy to get all the information from the video, because, for example, it can be fake, and non-experts cannot say if it's fake or not. So yeah, we really need these verification experts. Also, we have a very huge keyword list. For example, not only about war crime, but also we decided to develop also a list of emotions. Because when, for example, we're working with war crime evidence, with interviews, a lot of people describe their feelings and emotions, and we realize that it can be, like, to have these tags of emotion can be very helpful, for example, for psychologists and even for lawyers. So yeah, this is kind of an upgrade that we have recently. The process of tagging, for example, this is the part of the interview with eyewitness of war crime. You can see the card. All the information is empty here, but we can put name, region, location, address, other dates that, for example, a witness told us for some maybe important events or some important information, also keywords, and we also can add basically all the notes, for example, that it was made by interviewers. If they made some notes about this witness or about his neighbors or something, we can add all the information here too. But of course, all this personal information is closed to everybody except our team. And here you can see the card that already was pulled with the information. You can see here keywords, you can see address, location, etc. So this is actually how the process looks like. And of course, our tagging coordinators, they have to do it on, through different time codes, because the interview, as you can see, is really long, 50 minutes. So yeah, they have to look at it very carefully and cut it into small pieces. About our current progress, we already got more than 320 hours of video and audios in our database. There is 320 plus, because the process of collecting and uploading is ongoing. So right now I'm sure that my colleagues also keep uploading and tagging all these materials that we got. We also started to work with open sources, with open Telegram channels, and we developed specific application that can collect all the video from open sources Telegram that we gave them the name of these Telegram channels, and this bot or this artificial intelligence collects all this data and upload to the archive. But of course, there will be a very long process of watching all these materials through and to tag them correctly. As I already told you, that we have very important, I guess, essential area of our project is interview with war crime witnesses. So we already recorded more than 100 hours of interviews from different regions, basically from Dnipro, Kyiv, Chernihiv, Kharkiv, Kherson, Poltava, Vinnytsia regions, and from Mariupol. It doesn't mean that our interviewers came to Mariupol. They just found people who had to escape from Mariupol, and they talked to them in other cities. We also developed a very huge legal framework, permissions, interview guides, keywords list, and big partner network, because very important aim for us is to be useful for other professional communities. So we're trying to make our work more useful for them specifically, not just for us, because it's really important for us to somebody use this work in the future. And here are some screenshots from videos. I don't have videos from archive with me, but this is screenshots from this video. Basically, they're really, a lot of them are really similar because they're about destructions, ruins, of course, shelling, because this is the reality Ukraine living in right now. So people send these materials, and also a lot of media reported such videos too, and we got them in our archive. This is Kherson before the liberation, when they led protests against Russian army there in March. We have challenges and problems while we are working with the archive, and I guess that it's not just challenges of our project. I guess that the future challenges of Ukrainian government and Ukrainian people as well, because one of the essential and prominent problem is that we have a massive scale of war crimes. So, of course, we collect as much evidence as we can, but unfortunately, the number is so huge that we don't know how exactly we will work and process with them, because to my mind right now, it's impossible to work through all these war crimes that we got in Ukraine. A very important note is that, for example, interview with eyewitness of war crimes that we collect, they cannot be evident in the international criminal courts or in other courts, unfortunately, because through the legal process, lawyers have to speak with witnesses face-to-face, personally. The interviews that we collect only can give a clue, for example, for lawyers or for human rights experts to understand where exactly they should, dig, because otherwise it's just, just interviews in our database, and that's it. Unfortunately, this is the reality. But I know that a lot of Ukrainians hope that if they collect such interviews, they already can use as testimonies in the court, but unfortunately it doesn't work like this. There is still no political framework for Ukrainian government and international government as well as institutions. Of course, we have a very big hope for the International Criminal Court, but we realize that ICC won't work with every case. It's impossible for them, absolutely impossible. So we really need new regulation, new maybe institution, maybe a new procedure in Ukraine to get justice as much as we can, as much as possible. Because right now, unfortunately, we don't have such procedure, and we don't have such even law base. Part of Ukraine is occupied by Russia still, so we can only imagine what's going on right now there, but we cannot collect the evidence from there, at least right now, before the liberation. So it's also more work to do in the future. It's also more war crimes in the future, and it's the fact that we cannot do anything right now with it at all, unfortunately. And it's also in Ukraine no established procedure for collecting evidence. Unfortunately, there are a lot of journalists or projects who come to liberated cities, for example, and they started to collect interviews with witnesses, collect their story to make, to highlight the liberation, to make a very noisy story, and that's it. But the main problem is that they do it wrong, and they re-traumatize people, so these people can be silent in the future. They maybe won't talk to others, for example, with human rights or with police. So this is a really big problem in Ukraine. But still, for example, police don't have a lot of people, and human rights organizations also don't have a lot of resources to speak with all the witnesses. So a lot of area is still uncovered, unfortunately. Yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to tell you about Ukraine War Archive. If you have any questions or maybe want to discuss something or be in touch, you can write me on my email. I will be very pleased and grateful to cooperate, for example, or to make some maybe events together or something. Please, you can write me. I will do whatever I can. So for me, that's it. Thank you so much for your attention. We'll be glad for your questions.
Thank you so much.